got severe thunderstorm watches all the way from the Atlantic to right here in Arkansas. But the good news is that some of the watch has been dropped off a little bit farther towards the north. You can see over Arkansas multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and multiple hail cores. Not every storm has a warning on it, but some of these storms are starting to grow and they could probably get warnings here shortly. Right now we have a warning over Madison County. We also have other storms that have popped up all the way from Adair County into Washington County into Madison County too, and even Newton County getting some more of these storms. You can look to see which storms are the strongest by which ones have lightning in them. So this one has some lightning. The one off towards the east has a little bit of lightning. These don't have any registrable lightning at this time. Looking really closely, they could produce a quick flash. Not all lightning flashes are caught by the lightning detecting network, but we're watching these cells continue to press south. I think if you live in Benton County, our chance for a shower thunderstorm is now really low. Maybe only about a 10% chance as this boundary pushes off towards the south. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at this cell, Madison County, and then I want to show you the storm threats that we have for tonight overall. Are we going to get storms? Are you going to wake up to more lightning and thunder like we did last night, right around 4:30 in the morning? Are we going to get another round in the late morning? We had that round hit us really pretty strongly in Washington County and Adair County and Delaware County and Benton County, although the severe part was really in the mountains. That was around 8 o'clock this morning. So what are we going to get? Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer to Madison County. Here's that storm. I'm going to reduce this just the past 15 minutes. There we go. All right, so this is south of Huntsville. This is Japton to Venus. Very tall hill country right here. This is the Boston Mountains. So we're south of Highway 412. This will continue to press south and east towards Boston and St. Paul. This thing is moving only, let's see, in the latest update. So it's moving at 25 miles per hour. It does have some quarter-sized hail, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. But let's track this storm out as it pushes off towards the southeast. I'm going to update our trajectory at 25. Every storm's a little bit different speed, so you have to update that. But let's go ahead and push this south and east. So we've got Venus at 941, Boston 954, 1010 as you get to Arba, and then closer to 1030 by the time you get towards Gillian, which is very close to the Strawberry Bluffs. So we're still north of Clarksville. This thing is only moving 25, so these storms are very slow. But a couple things that we've got to track. Let's take a closer look at the hail threat right now. You can see this hail. As it started, actually in Washington County, not enough to produce a severe thunderstorm warning. National Weather Service, you might have seen, put out special weather statements, which is basically just one step below a severe thunderstorm warning. But we're tracking this hail, went right over Japton, and continues to move south and east. I'll show you the previous hail tracks as well. So this shows you already where we've had some hail. This thing actually dropped some hail right around Johnson, the north side of Fayetteville there briefly. And then it's continued its journey south and east, hitting us in Goshen, kind of skimmed the northern side of Elkins, the other side from the school's perspective, the high school's perspective, and then right into Madison County. Japton, we've got the latest hail. So this thing, the hail core is also moving about 25 miles per hour. So in Witter, Boston, St. Paul, Dutton, we are going to be watching this hail core next. It looks like we've got another hail core in that other cell. Remember, we were tracking two storms that actually had some lightning in them. But Weathers, Arkansas, which is actually the only place in 5 country that we've picked up a tornado so far this year, or for the spring season specifically, for March, April, May, and June. This thing's going right into Newton County, and will continue to do so. So we've got some hail to track. You look back off towards the west. Remember, we have some cells out here, but they're not producing too much hail this time. There could be some small hail cores mixed in with some of the rain as it moves south and east. Okay, so now let's go back. Let's talk about what we're seeing from an atmospheric perspective to see where storms could fire up for the rest of the overnight hours. Remember, this is a very unsettled weather pattern, so a lot of things and a lot of variables can change over time, but a few things to watch out for. We've got 2 layers of the atmosphere. We have where we live on the ground, which is very important, helps supply the heat and humidity you need for thunderstorms. But then higher up, you've got some different wind parameters that help organize the thunderstorm. So you got to get everything together. Let's take a closer look at the upper levels. Right now, we've got this little bit of a dip into some levels. And generally, when you're trying to forecast storms, you really look towards the southern and the eastern side of a dip. We're on the back side. So you can see, once you get over towards western Arkansas, we don't have as many storms. You have more storms in central and eastern Arkansas, so closer to where the core of the dip is and to the east of the dip. And so that's one reason why we don't have as many storms at this time, and that's why we're right at the corner of that severe thunderstorm watch, which, by the way, has been dropped for Sequoia County, LaFleur County, Latimer, and Haskell counties as well. But we do have the severe thunderstorm warning right on the tail end. That's from the upper levels perspective. Not the best, but enough to try to fire some storms. So keep that in mind. That'll continue to move to the south and east, so that will help storm chances move south and east over time as well. We're not expecting a whole lot to develop in parts of northern Oklahoma and Kansas, so nothing really to watch and see just blast through us as much tonight. If anything's going to happen, it would actually form over us and then push out pretty quickly. So that's one thing. Then from a surface perspective, we've got some warmer air trying to come in here at the ground level, but then also what's super interesting right now is some of our winds right here where we live are starting to come together. So it kind of looks like this. I know these maps are getting kind of messy, but just hold on with me. A lot of our upper levels are trying to come at one another. And look where you've got thunderstorms, right where all the winds are trying to come at one another. What essentially you're doing is pushing wind together, has nowhere to go except go up. So you produce storms. And so right now we're watching this zone to continue to produce storms. This boundary will continue to press south. So will all these arrows slowly kind of move everything just a little bit farther south over time. So this is probably the main boundary to watch, and this will push south. Now, once this pushes south and gets out of 5 country, we only have a chance for a very straight pop-up. Look at some of these that we have over Oklahoma. They try to get going, but then they really peter out east of Tulsa. We could try to get a couple of these overnight tonight. Overall, put this together. We've got some storm threats here for the next 2 or 3 hours to really watch. But then after midnight, I think our chances definitely do go down because we're going to start to move in all these different parameters towards central Arkansas and eastern Arkansas. And so that's why we have the severe thunderstorm watch only goes until midnight anyways. And then once we get to midnight, some of these will be dropped, and it will probably be just extended for Little Rock and Pine Bluff and maybe Hot Springs, but probably not much to the north and west of Hot Springs. So tonight, very straight storm chance. We should not have as much as we had last night. So hopefully that helps. We're going to take a closer look at a few other things here in a bit. I want to go back to what's going on right now and tracking the current storms. Just wanted to give you a quick look at what we can expect for the next couple of hours, because not everyone lives where we have a thunderstorm going on right now. But taking a closer look, multiple severe storms pushing south and east. The strongest ones are the ones that have a lot of lightning in them. So we've got some lightning south and east of Fayetteville, mainly just south of Huntsville, only for Madison County. But we also have these other cells. This cell that you see right here heading into Newton County is strengthening. We've got some lightning on it too. It also is trying to start dropping some hail. So we may see a new warning come out for Newton County. But right now, Madison County, it's this one storm that's pushing south of Huntsville that we have to watch. Then in Washington County, we're watching some good cells push on through, mainly just splash and dashes at this time. But something else to watch. There's so many different factors when it comes to weather, so it's not a perfect science, but something else that we can look into. You see this green line? I'm going to outline it with red. See this green line? Very hard to see. That's an outflow boundary. We have some cooler air pushing south from some of these cells. As this pushes south, it could try to ignite some more storms over the river valley. Probably, we probably can continue to watch the storms pretty closely all the way until this thing gets out of here. So this boundary, this little green line that's coming on through, that shows you that cooler air that's moving south. So something to watch. Closer look in northwest Arkansas, Benton County, Carroll County. I think we're mainly good. Just a 10% chance for a stray pop-up. Well, it's actively raining here in the mountains, so 100% chance of rain for many of us. But in the river valley, we've got about a 50-50 shot. We'll continue to watch these cells. Some of us will squeeze by in between some storms and we'll be dry, but some of us are going to get hit by some of these storms as they press south and east. So you see the yellow color, this general yellow, that shows you the severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until midnight. And then this brighter orangey yellow color with the yellow outline, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like the National Weather Service is trimming this one up just a little bit, and eventually they'll cancel the back one. But they're trimming it, so no longer is Japton included. This is just south of Wharton into Venus, Boston, and St. Paul, mainly due to this hail core that is moving. Oh, that hail core went up quite a bit. See that purple in there? I'm going to pause this. Let's estimate some of this. I'm going to have to turn off the... So we've got a hail core 1.8 inches. That's just barely underneath the size of an egg that you buy at this grocery store, a hen egg. So this is some massive hail that's coming down, but a lot of this is in the mountains, and the mountains have been hit very hard the past several hours. I'm going to show you real quick what we have had so far. We've had some wind and hail in Waldron. We've had lots of hail reports over the mountains the past 24 hours, mainly thanks to that storm that hit us at 4 o'clock, 4:30 or so in the morning. And then a lot of the wind was that next storm that hit us around 8 o'clock. So it's been very active. You also see more of those hailstorms, hail reports over central Arkansas, and those extended to Louisiana and Mississippi. Here's a wide view of 5 country. Things are quiet at this time, but we're not out of the woods yet. In Fort Smith, in Greenwood, Clarksville, Paris, Boonville, Ozark, Mulberry, Waldron, Huntington, Dayton, we'll all be watching these storms come in from the northern sky. It looks like the eastern ones are a bit stronger, and that makes sense when we're taking a look. Remember the upper level pattern that we have right now. Move this up a little bit. You generally look, you kind of divide these in half, and you look more towards the eastern half. So we've got this storm that's closer to the halfway point, but then most of these storms you see out towards the east are stronger, and the south are stronger. You go farther west, you're kind of in this area where we don't get a lot of as much activity, almost as if the atmosphere suppresses it a little bit. So that's why one half of the line looks stronger than the other half. On some of these live streams, we can try to go a little bit more into the meteorology. On TV, we don't have time to quite do this. So sometimes it's fun to show you why on this line are these eastern cells stronger than the western cells. So that's what's going on. The upper levels are supporting these 2 storms more so than they're supporting the western storms at this time. And that's why you cut off the severe thunderstorm watch as soon as you cross over the state line in from Fort Smith over to Arcoma, Pensacola, and Mulder and Roland. Still severe thunderstorm warning for Madison County. We'll track that hail. That hail should stay north of Clarksville on that particular storm. Now, some of these that are moving south and east, that are over West Fork and Winslow and Devil's End State Park, once they move into a little bit of a warmer environment, we could try to strengthen these a little bit. In fact, it looks like we've got a couple new lightning strikes on this storm. As these storms get closer to that upper level feature, they could continue to strengthen. But this cell is the nastiest one with some of that hail. If we track out this storm with the hail, put us in Venus basically right now. You go to Catalpa, Hillcrest, and then eventually towards Clarksville, getting close around Clarksville. It may not be until another hour or so. So it's a slow mover. It's got to come all the way over the mountains. It'll take some time. You may see some of the lightning off in the distance. So far, it's not as big as some of our previous storms that we've had throughout the day, but it's still pretty good. I want to show you what temperatures look like right now. We're a little bit cooler in northwest Arkansas. You can see those winds starting to come together. So we've got a lot of winds trying to suppress and come together, and that will continue to help some of these storms as they press south, most likely. Mid-70s once you get a little bit farther south and east, Clarksville, Boonville, 75, and Poteau. So temperatures are definitely warm enough. Here's a look at what we can expect over the next several hours. So we've got some storms now. I think our storm chances really diminish around midnight, after midnight. Could there be a stray storm? Yeah, but they definitely go down. I think we're dry for a few hours, kind of like we were later this morning after that storm hit us at 8. So we had a lot of sun after that. I think we'll have the same tomorrow. Watch out for an isolated storm in the afternoon. And then right there around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, we'll be watching another wave come in. And I want to show you what we're talking about. So for this evening, the storms are about here. Futurecast has a decent handle on these storms, pushing them into Clarksville and parts of Logan County, maybe even Scott County. Most of them staying east of the state line. Here's what 11 o'clock looks like. We may still have some storms. By about midnight, most of these are out of here. They head towards Conway and Little Rock. We extend the Futurecast into the overnight, 4 a.m. We're trying to wake up, hopefully not expecting as many storms. Now, here's one thing that's interesting. We've picked up a lot of rain in some locations. Some of us are still bone dry. But because some of us have picked up some rain, we may get some patchy fog waking up tomorrow morning. So that could be something that meteorologist Jack Scott, he tracks for you. I think throughout the afternoon, a lot of sun, temperatures warming up to the 80s and 90s. And then later in the day, close to and after sunset, we'll be watching this complex of some really nasty storms come in from Oklahoma. They'll be weakening as they make their approach, but something to watch. So real quick, we're going to get ready for our 5 News at 10 here in just a moment. Still some active storms out there across Arkansas tonight. The strongest thunderstorms will be away from us, but this is probably our last boundary, pushing on through right now. The eastern half will remain stronger. In fact, we've got this cell east of Newton County even that's pretty decent with some lightning on it. That could be severely warned at any time. This cell continues to strengthen. The cell right now with the severe thunderstorm warning has up to hen egg size hail, eggs that you're getting at the grocery store. That's the size. That's what we had over Winslow earlier today. Some of the cells back west towards Winslow and Devil's Den, Lincoln, and even Summers, Arkansas, and then just over the state line into parts of Adair County. These ones are weaker, but they sometimes have some small baby hail, little pea-sized hail pieces that come down. That doesn't do any damage. It's loud on a tin roof, but that's pretty much it. It's mainly this one cell that we have. Looks like it's even strengthened a little bit more with its hail core as it pushes towards Boston and St. Paul, Dutton, Pettigrew. So we're deep in the mountains now in southern Madison County. This is going to make a run towards Johnson County. If the trajectory stays about the same, it'll stay north of Clarksville. But just to be safe, let's go ahead and make the box a little bit wider. If it does make its approach around Clarksville, it should be around 11 o'clock or so. So we've got a while to watch some of these storms. This will likely be one of the final pushes that's pushing on through. There's that Newton County storm. Looks like the hail core has just dropped a little bit before reaching Murray. But then you look westbound, some very small hail being reported for some of these gray specks that you see on the map near Devil's Den State Park, which is about here. South of West Fork, Winslow, we could get another little bit of hail. We already had hail today, so something to watch out for. But we're watching these storms. They'll continue to press south and east. We're going to track them for you a little bit more coming up on your 5 News at 10. And throughout the night, if we've got more big thunderstorms coming on through, multiple cells, and we don't have a newscast on, we'll give you more coverage on our digital platforms as these press south and east. The good news is that tornado threats are really, really low. There's not enough rotation right now to really do anything, but there is enough heat and humidity and enough energy in order to produce some hail cores around 5 Country, mainly in the River Valley, pushing in the mountains now, but the River Valley, we're next. These storms are making a run towards us. We'll continue to track them here at 5 News at 10. Make sure you keep it here. Keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.